Hey everybody, Scott and Robin back with you on US Microsoft EDU Live. We are here on the banks of the mighty Mississippi River, the steamboat in the background and the whole deal. Super excited for today's interview with the team from Atlanta Public Schools, Robin, right?
Yeah, and speaking of people who really know how to, move down the river, we're going to bring our friends on from Atlanta Public Schools. Welcome everyone, we are live in New Orleans with Scott Bricker here in our convention center, live with US Microsoft EDU. So excited to welcome our guests on the show tonight. We've got some fabulous folks from Atlanta Public Schools, so I'm going to let you introduce yourself and we'll start with you, Tom.
I'm Tommy Clay, Digital Learning Specialist from Atlanta Public Schools.
All right.
Hi everyone, I'm Felisa Ford, Digital Learning Specialist with Atlanta Public Schools.
Hi everyone, Dr. Melissa Dandy Walker, Digital Learning Specialist with Atlanta Public Schools.
So I think we got the message there from Atlanta Public Schools, which is quite amazing. So ladies and gentlemen, we'd just love to hear from you a little bit, maybe about one initiative that you launched in the past year that you're most proud of.
Okay, so for our district, I think a major initiative from our department was personalized learning, and with that we were really trying to make sure that we meet the needs of all students, and it is learning one-for-one for our students, and with that we've put all of our focus into it, from the tech support, the instructional support, everything that we need to do. And Tommy?
Absolutely. Personalized learning is definitely the future of education, meeting the needs of each individual kids, allowing students to take ownership of their learning, and then meeting the needs of each individual teacher too. So personalized learning is the route we're going, and yeah, that's what it will be.
Right, I think oftentimes we forget about the teacher when we come up with these initiatives, but for us it's really important that we provide that one-on-one support for teachers as well, because oftentimes we do a blanket support or training for teachers, but we realize we have to step back and really make it intentional for our teachers.
And with that, we learned this year that personalized learning for children also means personalized learning for teachers and principals and instructional staff.
And probably parents too,
Oh,
right?
with
Families.
everybody.
Yeah.
So I was speaking with a principal a couple of weeks ago at our summer leadership, and he said we had cohort 1 last year. And so he said what he thought personalized learning was totally different than the implementation. And he's so glad because it was personalized for his school, which makes it great for the students and the population at his school and his teachers.
So dig in a little bit more there. So help me understand, or share with us a little bit more specific example of how that's possible. Because I think, when I first hear personalized learning from an educational lens and my former experience in the classroom, I'm like, okay. And then even stepping out into like the instructional technology role, there's not, a ton of resources in the district. So to really personalize the learning for your teachers, personalize PD and personalize just what's needed at the school level in addition to learning, how do you scale yourself? How do you really, give me an example of how you're able to personalize? What does it look like?
So for us, it started with a lot of training for our team, and we have educational technology specialists that support about 5 schools each. And then within our whole department, we also have a professional learning department is a part of our department. So there is a lot of collaboration and training so that we're all speaking the same language, and then just meeting with the schools to see what their focus is or their needs for their students, and trying to customize it down to that teacher level so that it is individualized to that student, down to the data points that we're looking at, and then the teacher being able to even transform the classroom the way it's set up so that there's even a space for student reflection, student writing, just anything that the student needs is down to that individual level. There sometimes is whole group, but we still try to make it more intentional with what every student is receiving, whether it's the technology we're using, how it's being used, and we're one-to-one, so that's helping also with being able to provide students that individualization that's needed.
And we started small too, so we didn't do all 80 schools.
Right.
How many did we have in?
14 in the first cohort.
14 in the first cohort, so they were able to get personalized PD for all of the staff. Then we went in and we did empathy interviews, which meant that they got to hear student voice, they got to hear teacher voice, parent voice, the voice of the community for that school. Then we had walkthroughs. We're just observing what was going on at each individual school, right? Then you sit down with school leadership and you have conversations about what you saw in a non-threatening way. And then you also find out what the school improvement plan is, and you plug into there. So that also makes it more personalized. And it's just very, I hate to keep on saying personalized, but it's just for a pretty little package for that school. So it's not like all the kids get on this program and technology is driving it. No, the needs of the school is what's driving it. I think that's what he appreciated most.
And in this first year, schools had an option of choosing to focus. So a lot of schools chose student ownership and student reflection as their first choice. So to be honest, a lot of the technology allowed to personalize it for a lot of the kids where they can take ownership of their learning. They get that why. Why am I doing this assignment? Why am I taking this class?
Purpose.
Yes, that purpose.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that personalized learning allows kids to do that. And with the integration of technology, you can, like you said, we can scale it. We can go from school to school without having to have an individual walk teacher by teacher.
Yes.
And I don't know if you all know this or not, but in the district, I'm often called the designing woman. And the reason
I love it.
I do. I support 21st century design in the school district. So I was able to, through the department, bring the first 21st century classroom space. So now schools reach out to us, and we've just made the 21st century classroom design a part of this personalized learning so that the classrooms fit the need of the instruction. So whatever's needed, we're customizing those classrooms so that it is flexible, it's mobile to meet all of those learning needs for those students. And you will never see one classroom the same. It's always based on what's being done at that time in that classroom.
So I want to get to kind of like the heart of it, right? Which is really the students. So you've designed this entire program that you guys are implementing into these 14 schools to start with, and then rolling that out. But how have the students been receiving this?
I think it's been a very positive reception from students because of the individuality. It's not a whole group approach where we're all doing the same thing at the same time, like a factory where, oh, this is tailored for me. I have this option to go this path because of my interests. And I think the students are receptive to that. Anyone will be receptive.
Yeah, do you
It's amazing the power of choice and voice, right? We say those words all the time, but it really does matter.
Pralines,
Absolutely.
or, you know, it's all the choices.
Absolutely. And they've been included from the very beginning in the decision making. And so that's so important for students' voice to be heard in these decisions. And then it's just what's good for students. We know it's what, and I love the saying that Aaliyah offered, it's like one size fits one. So that's what's important for us, not one size fits all. So that's what we're trying to do.
And how many times do we tell students, you know, just sit there, just be quiet, do the work, you know, at home, at school, that kind of thing. And it's amazing how they really, if you raise the bar, they'll meet it, right? If you lower the bar, they're going to meet that too, you know?
Absolutely.
So, okay, so we love these conversations because we hear such thoughtful leadership and vision and that kind of thing, but clearly there had to be speed bumps, right? We know that teachers can often be the toughest students, maybe not in your schools, but certainly in the ones I've worked in. We know that parents often have unrealistic expectations because they expect school to look like the school that they went to, and we know parents don't understand how to build a school like the ones that we are trying to create and inspire, right? So what if those pitfalls or speed bumps look like? Maybe give me one or two and talk about the effects and maybe how you've either worked through them or are working to get past those in the schools.
So I think one way that we have addressed some of those speed bumps, because oftentimes teachers are kind of hesitant to start something new, especially something this far-reaching. But what the importance for us was really moving slow and making sure that the schools had the time to understand what the expectation was, and that the teachers for sure had the time to understand and really work through what personalized learning was, because we wanted to make sure that everyone was speaking the same language, because my interpretation may have been different from your interpretation, so we just had to level set. Right, same language, speaking the same language, having the same understanding of what personalized learning is. So I think that helped almost not negate speed bumps, because there were some issues, but starting small, but still going through the entire course of the year with ongoing PD.
You're right on
professional learning.
You are on point. And another thing that really helped was we were intentional. We're intentional from our level, and every principal was also intentional. So they had a choice. They could do personalized learning whole school, or they could choose like the third grade, or a high school could choose the math department. So they chose where they felt comfortable
In starting.
in starting, and we didn't force it on them for the entire school. And we also provided, so we're the Office of Instructional Technology, excuse me, and that's what Lisa said, professional learning is with us. So professional learning was there hand in hand with the schools. They also had our educational technology specialists. They also had us, but it was wraparound support for the schools.
I think one thing that was so beneficial in the success of the first year is that schools were able to volunteer to be
Yes.
a part of the first cohort. So it
Like
was
choice, right? Again, choice. We keep coming back to that same idea.
Because no one wants to be told that
Right.
you have to do this. You want a choice in this. So there were 14 schools that chose to be a part of the first cohort. And once other schools saw the benefit or the impact of what was happening with the students and with teaching in that school, now there are going to be 40 schools in the second cohort, and those were volunteer. So we had that many coming on board for the phase 2 of
great.
personalized learning. And then the first group will still get that ongoing support, but they'll just be in year 2 of rolling out personalized learning.
That's great. That word intentional stuck with me. I mean, it's amazing how many times, and I know you all have seen it in your area, Rob, and I know we've seen it on our end too. Amazing how many times you don't see intentionality. You almost see randomness
Right.
from leadership in schools and communities, right? I think that word is very well chosen. Really having a clear vision and a purpose and knowing step by step as you work through the process. It's amazing how that pays off.
Yes.
'Cause
I think that's one of the big takeaways too at this event at ISTE is there's just so much, right? I mean, it's stimulation overload.
Absolutely.
36 rows in the
Right.
expo hall, I think.
Right. Well, there's the expo halls, and then you go from session to session,
Yeah.
and everybody's talking about the new fancy buzzword, and then people are excited about it, and they all want to all jump onto their own thing that they did, but it's not about like the new thing or the 10 new things. It's about choosing something and doing it well,
Yes.
and making sure that you've got the buy-in from
Absolutely.
leadership,
Yep.
from your teachers, from your students, from your families. You don't have to, do everything.
Absolutely.
You have to do something really well. And what is the thing that you're going to focus in on and stick with it for some time? Not then take that Band-Aid off,
Right,
try a new one.
Yeah, that's right.
That's one thing that we've said for this year coming up is we're not introducing anything new. It's still personalized learning because we really want this to get ingrained into the culture of instruction and just how we do business and supporting teachers and students in APS. And so we're really committed to personalized learning and just committed to the success of our students. And we feel that this is a way to make it happen for us.
Well, and if you stick with it, it
And
gives
if
you an
we-
opportunity to measure it.
Absolutely.
See, is it working? Is there
Absolutely.
growth? Are we staying the same? Are we going backwards?
That's
right.
If you just keep ripping the Band-Aids and changing, you can't measure anything.
Too many
And-
variables, it
Yeah.
becomes confusing, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I
That's
think
one
Science
focus of
101.
ours is data. You said
Absolutely. I was
that's
gonna talk
one
about
focus
the
of our
APS
personalized.
file.
One of our personalized focuses is on data. Looking at the data, has there been progress or regression, and then move from there. Not like you said, change it. Oh, that didn't work. Let's change it. Oh, that didn't
Right.
work. Let's
Yeah.
change it. Yes, and that's helped a lot, especially with the technology integration, where we're not constantly changing the thing. We're looking at the data, looking at the measurements, and then we made some progression. Maybe we need to make some adjustments and continue to move forward.
Well, you guys all came to this conference and spending, giving up a week of your time this summer to learn new things. Was there something you were coming here in hopes to take back to APS and go a little deeper with personalized learning or make some changes? Did you get any takeaways at the event thus far?
So I think one focus that we had in coming here was really just we're wanting to look at more of the coding piece also for students and the augmented reality, because that was Tommy's assignment.
The mixed reality space,
Right.
and then I didn't realize a lot of the features that allow for personalized learning in that, in
Yes.
that mixed reality AR VR space. So that was my focus, to broaden my horizon, learn as much as I can, because it's a fairly new space in education,
Right.
where quality content I'm finding is hard to come by. There's a lot of devices, but quality content and resources and curriculum is something you really have to delve into.
So Melissa, did you have anything? What were you looking for?
So I was, my main focus was looking for things that would help support individual students. And as you said, it's like overload. in ISTE Hall.
Totally.
So I'm really looking forward to our debrief after ISTE, where we sit down, we talk about what we saw, we talk about what we liked, and we weigh the pros and the cons of, you know, do you introduce something new or do you just keep what you have? So I'm really looking forward to the AR/VR conversation.
Taking a lot of notes, I'm sure,
Yeah,
right?
oh, absolutely.
Well, and those debriefs are really important, and I think, you know, critical to this conversation is the importance of the community, not just of educators, but especially within Microsoft Innovative Educator Experts, our MIEs, our showcase schools. So not just debriefing among yourself, but talk about the power of being back in person with our MIE community, educators that you've maybe known a long time, maybe just known on social media and are seeing for the first time. What has that been like, and how does that help drive, right?
Pure magic. Pure magic.
We all kind of perk up a little bit taller in our chair, right?
It just speaks to us, just being able to connect with, we call it our crew and just our people, because we're all supporting each other. And I tell anyone that the MIE expert community is the best PLN on the planet, because there's really just that support and just being there for each other. And I can call anyone in the crew and they're there to support, and it's just that constant learning and growing from each other.
It's like being part of a family.
It really is.
And then seeing people in real life for the first time.
Yeah.
It felt like a family
God.
reunion this week a little bit.
Family
Yeah.
reunion, right?
Yeah.
And we had an aha moment. We introduced a Minecraft student ambassador cohort this year, and we had the first cohort. We had educators from around the world, and as we were working in the booth, one of our, we call them our graduates, one of our graduates was working the Minecraft booth, and then we had another sponsor come up to us from, I can't remember where Walberto is from, but he saw us, I can't remember where he's from, but
I know who you're talking about.
Walberto, and they brought students,
Yeah.
and when I say we just hugged and just to be
that
able
was
to
so
see
much
each
fun.
other in person, it was just so amazing. But those types of connections that you make is so important, to be able to see people beyond teams, you know, face to face.
Right. Teams is great. We love teams, but come on.
Great, but to be able to hug,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
All of it beyond that mixed reality.
Yes.
Right.
Well played. Very well played.
Exactly.
Well, you know, we've been in this amazing city all week as well, so we're gonna wrap this up, and I'd love to for you to share just with us, what's the one takeaway from the city that you want to share? Maybe it was a favorite food you tried, maybe it was a cultural experience while you're here, maybe it was a sight you saw.
For me,
What's
that's
been your
easy.
favorite?
Beignets.
All right.
Did you finally get some?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I know at least a dozen or more beignets.
You have? Since you've been here?
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
All right, high five, Tommy.
Yeah.
You can't leave me hanging.
The
all
good
right?
thing is you walk a lot, so at least you feel like you burned some of those off, right?
So for me, I've come to New Orleans several times, and I've never tried oysters on the half shell. That's just not my thing. But this time I tried char-grilled or char-grilled oysters, and they were so good. I've already texted my husband and my friend who are here, and I said, meet me at, is it Drago's at 7:30 tonight, so I can get my next piece of char-grilled oysters right.
That's great.
And so mine is due to my tour guide, Felisa, who's been in here several times. So our team could be sponsored by Coca-Cola and by Popeyes. We love both. And she said there's a Popeyes that's near our hotel that's the best Popeyes in the world. And I'm like, Felisa's just talking. I went to the Popeyes.
Was it life-changing?
It was everything. It was life-changing. It
So
was
was
really
it the
that
chicken?
good.
Was it the biscuits? Was it red beans and rice?
The way I said they must have cooked it with love. Like, it tastes totally different. It was really good.
That Popeyes on Canal is everything.
Love it.
It's good.
Sounds like you're making me hungry right now. Think about all this food.
It's good.
Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight and for sharing with all of our viewers out there. We are so proud to have you guys as part of our Microsoft EDU family, and look forward to continuing to learn from you and see what's next for you all. But just grateful for you all to be here tonight.
Thanks so much, you guys.
for the invite.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Wow, just learned so much from our friends in Atlanta Public Schools that we're gonna have to take a stroll and relax. Our brains are on overload, so why not here, Scott?
Without a doubt, we are across the street from Jackson Square and just minutes from the river where we were at the start of this episode. Great place to take a walk. We're gonna like detox and just sort of like let it all sink in from that wonderful interview. We hope you enjoyed the conversation.
And then we're going to find a cool refreshment.